Hello everyone, Jeremiah Hughes here from Team Locust, and I've been tasked with creating the overworld level for our game, this milestone. The overworld level's objective is to provide access to all the other levels within the game. We will have several different levels, as you can see here: a wind dungeon, ice, earth, and fire. And that's because we decided to go with an elemental aspect to our game. Last week we decided to show off a new pet system we put in, and we feel this week that it didn't really fit into the full aspect of what we were trying to do. And so instead, we decided to turn that pet system into a summoning system. And I'll show you exactly how that's going to work here in a second. Let's go and jump into the overworld. Now this overworld, like I said, through portals will provide access to all of our other levels. And this portal right here is to our darkness realm that's not going to be available this milestone. We'll work on that next milestone. Our elements, like I said, is going to be fire, ice, wind, and earth. And as you go into each of these levels, you'll be able to grab an ancient artifact that will unlock the ability to channel one of these elements. Right now, I do have a hotkey set up to show how this is going to work. So right there, I did just earn a element, and now because selected, if I right click, I'll be able to channel that element into a fireball. Earth might do something such as root the enemy. Ice might freeze them or slow them down, and so on. Wind might push them back. But for right now, they're all going to shoot a fireball to save us a little bit of time. But if you continue going into each of these dungeons, you'll start gaining them, and then you can select them as such, and then use their ability with the right mouse button. Now, one thing you'll also be able to do that I have a key set up for is if you get into trouble, you'll actually be able to summon these, and you'll temporarily turn into them, and each one of them will have a separate effect, damaging all the enemies around you, pushing them back, or what have you, and it'll help you get out of very sticky situations. Now, once you've got all of them, you will be able to use them to unlock this last portal here. And to do so, you'll just simply shoot one of them at the altar, and if you have it unlocked, or if you have that element unlocked, you'll be able to open up that one little stone there. And if you continue to select them, it'll unlock the next one and so on. Then once you get to the very last one, it'll open the portal and allow you to jump through to the other side. Something else I want to quickly show you that I've been working on is elemental minions that are enemies that will represent each of these areas. So we do have enemies now that are indigenous to the area you'll be actually going into. And that's them right there. And then if you go into these portals, it'll actually port you into, that realm to where you can gain one of these unlocks. Again, my name is Jeremiah. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you really enjoyed the stuff that I'll be bringing to the table this
With the
following
tutorial
week.
level, you will notice that we created a narrative system in this level to kind of help guide the player and create some kind of context to the game as well. So we cross over a trigger here, and then the player is, speaking to himself, and we're told to press the spacebar to continue. Now, when we hit the spacebar, control is relinquished back to the player. Whenever there's a narrative box open, the player cannot move at all. So once we continue a bit further here, another narrative box is triggered, and I can't move until I acknowledge the text box and press the spacebar again. So also for this level, alongside the narrative system, we also created a non-playable character companion that's going to be helping throughout the tutorial. So as you can see, this is the non-playable character speaking to us, and there's a little narrative dialogue here kind of creating that context for the tutorial. So this companion will also tell the player what buttons to hit in certain situations, like we're about to be told how to interact with his crystallized prism here, to press the E key to set him free. So if we get close enough and press the E key, it triggers an event which then causes this cave in, and then the NPC is free, and he stays attached to the player throughout the tutorial. As you can see, the NPC player will hover over objects of interest. So this door right here, there's going to be some narrative placement here to kind of give the player an idea of what to do. This will tell the player to hit the E key when they're next to the door to then unlock the door, which the NPC does for the player. And then the player and the NPC continue throughout the tutorial. So there's definitely much more content we have to add to this level, but as it stands right now, we have pretty much the fundamental systems in place that we can build from to then complete the tutorial level.
For the ice dungeon, there is snow and some wind effects and cold air effects. You can destroy icicles like that. Sometimes things will fall on you. And then there'll be blockades. And then you can't attack these with a normal hit, so you actually have to use fire or the alternate attack. There are also some collapsible platforms. So if you don't hurry, you'll fall to the bottom and then have to find a way back up. Then over here you can slide around. Coming over here to cut some more enemies. And then you can use this lever to make that go away. So you go back over here. Maybe. Go through here, get to that blockade. And here's the blizzard area, so it'd be harder to travel in. Watch out for more icicles. And then once you're through that, you are in the boss area. Currently the boss doesn't do anything. Hopefully I'll get that up and running in next milestone, and then you can run through here. And that's the end of the ice level for right now.
Hello, my name is Jessica Vasas, and I'll be doing the fire dungeon walkthrough. So first you're going to start off in this little area right here, and there's going to be a beginning checkpoint with a dialogue system that we added into the game. And you just got to hit continue, and it'll tell you like what if something is new or you should check out. And then if you notice right here, we added some new enemies into the game to kind of go with the level or the dungeon, whatever one we have. There's fire, earth, ice, and wind ones. And then there's one more guy right here. Then right here you're going to hit a trigger. They'll activate a little animation to get across so the player can cross over the lava without getting hurt. And there's going to spawn a little, it's going to be a little harder. There's going to be like 5 enemies right here that spawn. And then activate that and kill them. And for the those are a little harder because that's going to be right before the boss, and there's going to be a little checkpoint. Later on I'm going to add in another animation right there to block the player so he can't exit this place with the boss going on. You notice the boss is going to be bigger. He's just not done right now, so let's just run past them, and then that will be the end.
Alright, we're going to move into the dungeon, the Earth dungeon. We made these maps, or these new levels, to coincide with our new direction for the game itself, which has to do with the elements. As you saw on the level screen, we saw earth, wind, fire, ice. So we're just gonna make our way through here, defeating these earth enemies that are guarding this mountain. And you see on the mini-map there, we got the big baddie, and there he is. And he does some serious damage. We'll use our limit break on him. Oh, we barely got out of that one. And that's the level.
I'm Josephine Dolan, and for this week I was making a wind-themed dungeon and a matching elemental. So as you can see, I have made mushrooms that flow in a breeze. I originally had where the mouse was wearing clothes that also flowed in the breeze, but unfortunately due to a lot of crashing issues,